Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Fola, and I wanted to talk with you today about being biracial, mixed, whatever you want to call it. So let's dive into it. So thanks so much for tuning in today, everyone. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and little notification bell so that you're updated on any other videos that are coming your way. And this might be a little bit of a different topic, not so much around like the mental health and ways to kind of, step more into your power. This is more around me just wanting to share a bit about my experiences as a biracial mixed woman. So to those of you who might not really know me like too well, my background's actually a mix of both Nigerian, my dad's side, and Norwegian and Scottish on my mom's. I always grew up in this kind of mixed household of, the African and the Canadian, European culture mixing into one. Trying to mix into one. Maybe it's more like oil and water. Maybe. I think we all know Nigerians. Very different mindset than might be the normal, the Western way of thinking. It was really, sometimes a challenge for myself coming from these two very different polarities, literally white and black. And I feel like this is how my whole life has been. Maybe this is part of my reason for being here. It's like, how do you start to integrate those things? And it seems very applicable to Deep Mind Squared. That's what we're about with Deep Mind Squared, is how do you merge or integrate the mental health and the spiritual? So if you are mixed, if you feel like this message resonates, maybe you have mixed kids, just hear me out with this and try to have an open mind, that there is potential for everyone, but especially if you come from this background, I think that there's so much that you hold as from a deep knowing within you and life experience that can really support other people. I grew up pretty much in Canada. We lived overseas for a bit when I was in high school. And living here, when I was younger, we would really engage with more the Nigerian side. My parents were really involved with the Nigerian culture, Nigerian associations. We'd go to all these Nigerian parties, which were a lot of fun, in my opinion. I was really involved with that world. I remember they tried to get us to learn Yoruba, one of the Nigerian dialects. And I took Nigerian dancing, African dancing, and did all these different things. And there was something really beautiful in it. But I never really felt fully in that belief for that way of being, that culture. And I think it's because, I was only half. I mean, it didn't look like everyone else. At a young age, you realize that stuff. My parents tell the story of when I was maybe 3 or 4 years old. We had gone to a store and basically us kids noticed hey, that lady doesn't look like our dad, or vice versa, And so kids know these things. It's really about how do we teach them at a young age, I guess, to accept and appreciate other people for who they are. It was really quite an experience growing up in both, because my mom really had taken in she had really gone into the Nigerian culture. I feel like she was really accepted into there. And she enjoyed it. She loved making the food, and she would dress in Nigerian outfits and all these different things. She really embraced the culture. And my dad came here in the 80s and, to Saskatchewan, of all places. And he was going to university, and I think he's trying to embrace some of the cultures. But I mean, again, Nigerians are stubborn. I guess I also have that part inside. It's just so interesting to think about how two different cultures, ways of being can merge, and the beauty that is. And yet there's still challenges. I think a lot of the challenges that I faced, it's the fact that, you go into one group. If I go with my mom's side of the family, sometimes I'm kind of I don't really feel like I'm the same. They're all white. The viewpoint in which I've been raised, coming from a Nigerian household, also is relatively different in terms of respecting your elders and all these things. And then when I would go into the Nigerian side, and we went to Nigeria when I was, I think, 13, the mindset from Nigerian people with you entering, they look at you with complete amazement. Who's this specimen? Why do they look different? they also, I think, question like, who are you and so forth. And I remember when I was going to university, I had like a lot of like African friends, people from Nigeria, South Africa, like Uganda, all over. And we'd go to like see movies and I'd hang out with them. And I felt part of me was like, I don't really feel like I'm part of this group, but I've obviously been connected with them and we'd have a lot of fun. And that I couldn't really relate to some pieces. And so the problem, I guess, the existential crisis, if you will, of a person who's of mixed background, no matter what your mixed background is the fact that here you are in like this dance between worlds. Oh, it's like you're a shaman in life. Maybe not. But it's like you're going between like one world and the other world. And I find that really interesting. Like how much are we willing to accept both of those sides of ourselves? That can be a huge challenge, especially when there's some parts that are like, you just don't want to, because maybe the other side is racist towards it, discriminatory, has their own views that really go against. And so there's almost this like internal battle and external battle that you might see with your parents. I mean, I think that's like a given. And that can be really challenging. And so I spent a lot of my life not really feeling like I fit in. Honestly, even still, I feel like I don't. It's interesting. I don't know like what that's about. It's just something there. Always noticing that there's always a piece that's not really connecting with the external. So what I found helpful is to know I can connect to myself and that there's some part of me that's connected to, like the trueness of who I be if I don't get in the way of it with my mind. And that ultimately means I'm connected to source or like great spirit, the divine, right? And this can be a really beautiful healing piece that I think a lot of people need to go and like step into. And even if you're not mixed, you're still going to go through that. It's just in like maybe a different lens. But something that I found really beneficial from being a mixed person, and also probably my like oral skits body structure, is the fact that I can blend in to all the places. If something's going on, I just blend in. I can like fit into groups. I guess a chameleon type of just being able to get into somewhere and connect with people in some way, because I guess maybe that was part of a survival. I was constantly in those situations. And also it's part of our human nature to want to connect and survive and, make sure that we're really engaging with others in this like group sense. And another great thing that has probably supported me now with Deep Mind Squared and really hoping to bring this integration of mental health, of the psychospiritual aspects of mental health into one, is the fact that we can see things from both sides. We have literally been brought up in a place that has to see two different perspectives. And that also is a beautiful thing, especially in a day like now where we're finding there's so much more polarity, got left wing, right wing, this wing, whatever, black and white, all these different movements, all these different issues that are going on. I truly feel that as a mixed person, we have this gift to be able to see from both perspectives and to make like change. And this is what's happening in the world right now. So I would encourage you, if you are someone who's struggled with who your identity is, especially when it comes to your race, maybe because you have grown up in a variety of like different race households or culturally diverse households, to see that you have this potential inside you and you can harness this power to create that change in the world. And I encourage you to hold space for other people. And that might not necessarily mean so that you can like teach and share information, but even just to hear what they're going through and just be there for them. But obviously making sure that you are safe, because it's not your job to necessarily do this for people. Like everyone has to do their own healing and their own get their own understandings about who they be. But you have this powerful gift within, and that's something I just want to impart on whoever might be listening to this video today. So just be brave, be consistent, be you, and know that you are loved no matter what anyone's told you. All of you, the whole of you is amazing, okay? So thanks so much for watching. Please feel free to like and share this video with anyone that you think might benefit from hearing it, especially maybe any mixed people, and let's connect, because I think that's also important in this day and age. You guys take care.